Hello and welcome everybody to a pickleball paddle review, and we're going to start with a question. Why are golfers allowed to Michael Jackson it on the course? How come pickleballers don't wear one glove on their dominant hand? I might start doing that. I'll get a left-handed golf glove, which means I'm going to wear it on my right hand. It's weird, I know. I'm just going to start rocking an individual glove. I think that would be super awesome. So today we're going to introduce the Cuddly Kittens reviews for pickleball, okay? So this is an icon. This is an old model. Something that I think deserves a little bit of attention. There are still people buying these because they're at a discount, all right? And with old models, you get them at a discount, and lots of amateurs, beginners, people are just starting out, want to try different paddles out, and they want to see what this is all about. Diadem is a Florida company. Just get in your mindset of the blue waves, the warm water, golf courses, pickleball, lovely outdoor pickleball year-round, except every day when it rains in the afternoon. Don't get me started. So we're going to get this on the review table. I'll show you the detail, but I want to talk about big picture ideas. Okay, what am I looking for in a paddle? And give it the gold star premium standard stamp of pickleball awesomeness, all right? Well, how do I do that? All right, so there are some things that I do. Let's talk about different strokes for different folks, okay? First, defensive pickleball edge, all right? Now, what do I mean by that? So somebody gives somebody too much space, right? They lob one up, and you can see this person winding up, and they're going to smash this or punch this really hard at you, okay? What I do, just me, I'm not telling, this is not coaching, this is just what I instinctively do, okay? Kickboxing, karate when I was younger, you put your guard up because you're not going to see that punch coming, right? So the first thing I do is I put the paddle right in front of my face, and I get down really low. Okay, and I'm just peeking over, right? Because that ball has to move like, what, 12 feet? Maybe more, obviously. Past the kitchen on their side, the kitchen on my side, and then I'll have reaction time to move an inch, whether it's my head or my paddle. Okay, wherever they hit it, I can protect my face. And usually what happens, I can think of one time when it came right at my face and it was just like, Pam, return that, yeah, in your face now. It felt pretty good. But usually it's down, right? Down and away from me. And so I'm trying to drop my paddle to make contact with it. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But it gives me the opportunity. Now, in my opinion, again, I'm not a coach, don't take this from, but in my opinion, I like that defensive stance because it's easier for me to move my paddle down, it feels like, than to move my paddle up. So if I have it down here, like normally my paddle is just down here, you know, just ready to dink, ground stroke, dink, you know, whatever. So it's down here. But when I see that situation, it comes up here. All right. Why do I mention that? Because some paddles, I'm thinking of the Gamma Micron in particular. I think it was the first one, maybe it was the second one, I don't remember. It was really lightweight. That thing changes direction like a housefly. Just anywhere. You could block anything it felt like. This is a little bit more heavy. Maybe not tons, but just feels a little bit that much more heavy. And so those are things that I count for. So in a defensive position, how quick is it? Okay, and that's just a measure of quickness. And then there are dinks. You know, how much control do I feel like I have when I'm hitting those dinks, those punch shots? I'm not one to really smash it. Occasionally I will, but I feel like I just have much more control with just a really solid like punch. So it's my personal play style. Either way, we're going to include smashes in that as well. And then ground strokes, right? So long distance ground strokes. I have a two-handed backstroke normally. Sometimes you'll see me hit a one-handed backstroke, particularly if I'm extending for a backstroke. And then my forehand is just a forehand. So all that in serves, okay? So all that, I'm going to talk about, you know, the strokes. Those are the strokes that I'm talking about. People will want to talk about spin. I include that with all of those things. Because if I'm taking power off of a dink or anything, a serve, I'll add spin. One direction or the other, whatever. So yeah, for sure, we're including spin on that, and we'll discuss that with this lovely surface right here. So big picture, looking at this paddle, I feel like we need to get it on the review table, and then I'll tell you how I feel about the paddle. This Gamma Micron 2.0 is one of the first paddles I bought. It was at Dick's, whatever, clearance place, brand new to pickleball, no clue what was going on, just picked it up. It was like 20 bucks, okay? And I said that it changes direction like a housefly. And I wanted to weigh it. I've weighed it I just want to compare, and make sure, fact check myself. I like, if I'm going to say something wrong, I will correct myself. 7.63 ounces. Okay, now I'm expecting this icon to be heavier. And it's barely heavier. It's like 0.3, it's like a third of an ounce. It's pretty close. Either way, it felt like it. Not sure if it makes that big of a difference. I want to weigh one more thing, just by way of reference. The Selkirk. To me, it feels like this doesn't change directions as fast as the icon. That's just how it feels, but I suspect, when I hold them side by side, they feel very similar. So I just suspect this one is close. 7.7. Is it actually lighter? It's actually lighter than the icon, even though for some reason it feels heavier. Maybe this right here moves the weight further out, so it has a higher moment of inertia. Either way, let's stick with the icon here. I'm going to show you some details on this paddle and discuss my opinions about it. I put this on. This is an aftermarket little grip band. You can buy these on Amazon. I'm an Amazon associate. There's a link in the description below if you're interested in buying these. I just grabbed a bunch. This one happened to match the color of this, so I put it on here because I like them. All right, so this is aftermarket, okay? But lovely white grip. You can see it has a lovely bespoke butt cap, which I really like. It, instead of just like putting a label on a pre-existing butt cap, they actually have their own diamond diadem butt cap right here. Nice tacky grip. It does get a little bit dirty. I've wiped it down a couple of times when it gets particularly gross. The face, if I try to glare it off of the light, you can see it does have this, it feels like a softer rubber texture. It's not like a hard plastic. It feels softer. And it feels like, it's not like tacky, like football gloves, like wide receiver gloves, but it does have that kind of rubbery, like it feels like it could grab onto something and give you some traction. The face graphics, pretty straightforward. Icon. Every time I look at this, I'm like, that's a QR code. No, it does. No, it isn't. This is the original icon, not the V2, with the diamonds going with the diadem theme. It does have some information here. Weight 8 ounces, plus or minus a little bit. Length 16 inches, width 7.6. The usual. So face pretty good. Grip good. All right. Around the edges, let's talk about this for a second. So I'm not sure if this is going to show up. Trying to make sure this is focused. All right. So they put like these automotive retention clips in here, right? You know what I'm talking about? The little snaps, the little clips. This is what it looks like. So there's little plastic clips holding this plastic around the bumper. There is actually a bumper on here. I always call it a bumper. We call it bumper cars when we hit the edge of our paddle. That's just what I call it, okay? So there is a bumper here. It just happens to be flush with the face, all right? So something like here, let me just pull out back that gamma micron. So see how this actually protrudes out past the face? So this one doesn't. And so it's this flush mounted bumper, which I like. And again, you can see if it will focus, the mounting hardware right there. And there are several pieces. So there's the top piece, the side pieces, okay? And you can see there is a break here. So 1, 2, 3 different bumpers on here. Pretty interesting. It feels pretty solid. It makes, a noise. It seems like the thinner ones, the thinner paddles, it seems like, and there are exceptions, seem to make a little bit more noise than some of the thicker ones. And there are other variables. I understand that. But it does make a noise when you hit it. And you can see in the video that I'm going to roll after this that you can just listen to how it sounds, the difference between indoor and outdoor. I think indoor is a better representation of the sound. And the other thing that I want to discuss is durability. Now, I'm not talking about durability like I'm mad, I'm going to try to break this over my knee kind of durability. That's not normal use. Yeah, that is helpful if you want to throw it in the trunk with, I don't know, some dumbbells or something, all right? But for general use, for most people, that doesn't really apply. I'm talking more about like the durability of the face. Like, how is this going to wear? And so you can see, I don't know if you'll, it should show up on camera, but there's some yellowing right here. When I played outdoors with this in particular, the court chews up the ball and it deposits that onto this face. And I haven't scrubbed this or anything. I just wanted to show you, there is some yellowing here, but there are no gouges or holes or cuts yet. Doesn't mean there won't be in the future, but as of right now, there is not. Look at the other side, very similar. And you can see the strike pattern right here of where I'm hitting this. It seems to favor the top end. We're going to call this the toe a little bit more. And so the surface feels pretty durable. It feels pretty good. I haven't had a problem with it yet. Again, in the comments below, if you had a problem, let us know. You should read the comments. There's usually really good advice down there. Now let's talk about the grip. Okay, we're going to roll in a ruler here and let's measure the length of the grip. So this is 5 inches long. If you want to grip out to where it actually starts to really get wide, you could maybe say 5 1/4. Let's see if we can line this up center shot here so you can see what I'm seeing more or less. So that's 5 inches right there. Yeah. And then you could say 5 1/4. Let's give it 5 1/4 because that's really right here. Like when I hold it two-handed, like I'll cheat down. One of the things that I do that I shouldn't do is I'm always changing my grip, right? So like it feels like I'm going like semi-Western sometimes to more of a neutral pickleball grip where it's just vertical up and down. Semi-Western is where if the ball's coming this direction, it kind of leans down a little bit, whatever. So I'm always changing the grip, but when I go to my two-handed backhand, I will cheat down and I'll hold it like this. Does that make sense? So it's kind of my pinky just kind of hangs off the edge there. And then I feel like I got a good grip here. And then I'll rock that two-handed. So I feel like the grip is plenty long for my purposes. If you like a really long grip, this probably could be a little bit longer. But I mean, 5 1/4 is a pretty good length grip, in my opinion. So that said, I do have some footage, indoor and outdoor, just a few clips. It'll just be a few seconds. You can watch that and then we'll move on to the conclusion. And at the very end of the video, I'll probably post a graphic with my own gold star standard pickleball paddle rating.
Oh. Nice.
So now in conclusion, these are my opinions. You remember, your opinion is more important than my opinions. Get what you like. But my opinion is that this is just a fun paddle, okay? There are paddles that feel like, and I've hit several paddles these days, that I feel like have more power, that I feel like have more control, that I feel like are better at both power and control. And this is the older model. But why do I keep coming back to this one? Now, there's a couple of reasons. Number one, it is happy. It is bright, it's light, it's happy. It has these lovely, what I consider kind of like Florida beach colors with this like teal. It's just a happy paddle to play with. So I like it, it makes me happy. Okay, it's recreation. To me, it's like an Arduino, okay? Like an Arduino is not like a serious piece of electronics, right? Can you see here? I used an Arduino, this is an R3 Uno. I used a Nano for a project recently, and I'm from a family of engineers, okay? And so when the family converges, they criticize, and they always have something to say. It's like, oh, they start mooing at me. They're like, let me tell you about how much I know, right? So I'm just gonna put on the the hobby family mooing here. They're like, oh, you know, those connectors aren't good for long-term things. You really want to solder everything. You want to just smoke PCB? Well, you know, why don't you use a PLA? Hey, you're just like, shut up. It was a one-off project. I'm not mass producing these things. I'm not making 3,000. I'm not making 3. I made one of them. One for a project. Some pretty lights. That's all I wanted. Done. Yeah, I know it's used for prototyping. I get it. You don't have to moo at me. Shut up. It's not that serious. That's what this paddle is. It's not pretentious. It's not saying, this is going to win you the champion. You're going to be like Ben Johns. Eula. Woo! It's not mooing at you like that. It's just, hey, do you want to have fun? Do you want to just have fun? Then you can use this paddle. Now, for me, that's what it is. And for me, it is fun. I love this paddle. It's my second favorite so far, subject to change. Absolutely love this paddle. Love, love, love it. I tried this new one, the V2. We'll make a video about that. But this all-time great fun paddle, it might be my #1 fun paddle, but my second favorite to use. That said, be sure to visit my Amazon shop for all your Arduino needs. All right, maybe there's some pickleball stuff there too. I am an Amazon associate. I make proceeds from qualifying purchases. Thank you everybody for watching. Please subscribe if you enjoy this content. I'll see you in the next one.